Yo, what is going on, guys? This is Slower Gaming here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Christmas break. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that's a little bit more deep. One I'm more deeply fond and pound, and really impacts me a lot, and it impacts a lot of my friends and everybody on YouTube, and everybody for entertainment for that reason, and really anybody who spends money on games. This topic is going to be the biggest one I've talked about on this channel. This video is going to be pretty long, so I do recommend that you grab some drink, a snack, just enjoy. I've got some Dark Souls playing in the background. This is a very entertaining game. I'm going to be talking about it a little bit in this video. If you haven't bought it already, I strongly recommend it. I think it's worth your money. There's a sale going on for it right now. I've played it for 3 years, and I still haven't got tired of it, so that says a lot. I'm a very unbiased person when it comes to gaming, so take my opinion for it. Anyways, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be talking about microtransactions and the future of gaming, where I think it's headed. I'm going to be involving a lot of games in this video. Destiny as a big one, EA, a lot of big company names that you've probably heard of in the past couple weeks or past couple months for that reason. And also games like Fortnite and Dark Souls, which you can tell are polar opposites, as I talk about in this video. Okay, so let's start off right on the ball. What are microtransactions? I'm sure some people don't know, and a lot of people do know. Microtransactions are basically, mini items you can purchase throughout games to make your armor look better, or in some games even make you better in general. Better weapons, better gear, all for the sakes of purchasing it with your own money, so you don't actually have to grind out the game. It's a way of companies making more money off the rich. It's a very sad process for games that you've already paid for that are $60, because by title you should be in claim to the whole game and not have to purchase anything. But we'll talk about that with Destiny, which you do. Now you guys might be asking, I've heard microtransactions in apps for forever now on your phones. Ever since, the iPhone 1 dropped, we've had these apps we purchase and no one has a problem with it. No one said anything about it. Well, that's because apps are usually free, and putting microtransactions in an app game really doesn't hurt anybody. They have to make their money somehow. So for apps, that's okay. They got to make their money somehow as a company, and they're already given a free game, so it's perfectly fine to purchase something that way. Well, what's the problem with $60 games and doing that? Well, you're already paying $60 and even more for the season pass, and I'm actually going to include Destiny right here. If you do buy Destiny 2 and you buy the season pass, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's $80 to $100 in total. Now what does that incline you? It inclines you 2 out of the 4 DLCs, and not all the in-game content, neither an in-game. Now this has been a very serious problem, because not only has Bungie already been discovered with throttling the Bright Engram system. Yet again, I'm not going to go too deep in games here, guys, just because I have talked about this a lot in my other videos. But basically, they throttled XP, gains, everything. So people actually have to spend more money in the Eververse program, which is their microtransaction program, which are the initials MTX. If you guys don't know what the initials are for microtransactions, I don't know what it is, MTX, if you just want to save yourself some time. The biggest problem with microtransactions isn't actually in one game itself. It's actually the chain reaction of the one game it's being put in. It started out with probably EA's Madden, the sports games, from implementing the apps, and then it kind of clicked on, it's attached links somehow to the $60 game on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And they kind of got linked together, and eventually microtransactions were being added more and more to the $60 games. And companies were seeing that EA was making all this money off people, and they basically thought, well, damn, I want to be making that money too. So they started implementing microtransactions into their games. Hence, Bungie implementing Eververse during the Taken King. Now, this didn't hurt as much because Eververse during Destiny 1 was not as watered down with the loot boxes, per se, as Destiny 2's Eververse, just because it was mostly just emotes, nothing that really hurt the game at all, nothing that made your character really necessarily look cooler. Now, they did implement a Desolate armor, which was a big shame. In my opinion, it didn't look that cool, and some people thought the same. So it wasn't that big of a deal during Destiny 1. That's basically my point to get across. Destiny 2, however, they implemented Eververse yet again. However, this time they implemented almost every single piece of good-looking armor and every single good-looking emote and gear you can possibly think of, and that goes along with the weapon ornaments as well. And you can't dishonest that fact. It's 100% real. Destiny is probably the biggest fraud game I've played in years, really, and I truly mean that. And it's a real shame because Destiny 1 was probably if not the greatest, one of the greatest games I've ever played. It connected me with a lot of my friends, and it's a shame to see Bungie do such a tragic thing to all of its fans and its community. Yet again, I'm not going to go too in deep on Destiny. We're going to move on here to another subject, and that is the future of gaming. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. This is either going to go one of two ways. We're either going to come together as a whole and revolt against companies doing this to us. They're frauding us of our money. They are cheating us of $60 for the whole game. They are watering down all the content, reusing content, exploiting you for not knowing the program behind the walls. And the only way we're going to stop it is if we come together as a community and demand them to stop. And we need games like Fortnite, for example, to start coming out more frequently, because Fortnite actually might just get Game of the Year. And the crazy thing is, guys, you know why it's probably going to get Game of the Year? Hint, hint, there's no microtransactions. The second in place is probably going to be Horizon Zero Dawn. Why is that? Hint, hint, no microtransactions. None that actually hurt the game for that reason. You actually get your money's worth out of these games. Dark Souls is a great example, too. It almost won Game of the Year when it came out, and it had no microtransactions. It's a very realistic order, I should say, in games winning Game of the Year. They all don't have microtransactions, and that's why they're the best games, because they're the most fun without microtransactions. But what does that mean for the future of gaming? I said the one out of two ways is that we come as a community and we revolt against this. The other result is that the gaming industry is going to continue doing this. Now, as much as that sounds heartbreaking, it's the realistic truth. We're not seeing any resistance of companies doing this. They're actually getting worse at doing this. We're seeing actually, after we stopped Bungie twice on throttling with that XP system, they actually put out the DLC Curse of Osiris and actually stopped vanilla players for D2 from accessing the heroic raid without purchasing the DLC. That was tragic. I can't believe they did that. But, you know, companies are just getting greedier and greedier, and it's just how, it's just how companies work in real life. I mean, we look at Nike and we look at Adidas, if someone ups their prices for shoes, the other one's going to up their prices for shoes. The same with gas stations, If one lowers their price, the other gas station's got to lower the price, because every consumer is going to go to the lowest price. And that's how it's working with gaming right now. Everyone's upping up their microtransaction price, and the other gaming companies follow them to try to make the most money. It's just how life works, and it sucks that it spread to gaming, because many YouTubers are, as you can see, if you're wondering why, clans like FaZe, Optic, a lot of them, the big gaming YouTube communities, why they're stopping gaming videos. it's quite simply the fact that gaming really isn't as fun anymore. I mean, a lot of you probably find more fun just in your everyday lives doing something different. As you see my brother get a Sacred Flame on me there. Wow. Yeah. So the future of gaming, if we don't revolt and come together as a community, is looking quite bad, as you can tell. Now, a lot of you guys might be asking yourselves, well, Solar, this sounds terrible. How have we not already came together and revolted as a community? Well, there are still people that believe in microtransactions as being a good thing. Believe it or not, this is true. Me and my friend have actually posted several Reddits. I even posted one saying becoming a greater Destiny community, and I actually talked about how we need to come together as a community to help stop MTX. And every single comment was people revolting against me about how MTX isn't bad and how, if you don't have to pay for it, you know what I mean? But essentially that's not true. If you bought a game for, say, Destiny 2, and you bought it to look the coolest, get the best out of the armor, the weapon slots, everything like that, essentially you do have to purchase from Eververse. So what they're saying is actually false. And also, that's not the only thing you guys should be mad about. You shouldn't be mad at the fact that you have to purchase from Eververse. You should be mad at the fact that you paid $60 and you didn't get all the content out of your game. That's how you should be looking at this, guys. Is the lack of content these companies are doing to you, and the fraud of them taking their money from you. That's what you should really be mad about, not necessarily having to purchase from their microtransaction system. Now, as much as I would love to sit here through my days and making videos ranting about microtransactions and the downfall of gaming, essentially, I just can't do that. That is not going to stop this from happening, and it's the same for all the big YouTubers as well. Us alone are not going to be able to stop these companies from putting out microtransactions. I can't say this enough, how essential it is that we need to come together as a unit and stop this shit from happening. Because I am so, and I'm sure you guys are too when I say this, I am so fucking done with this shit, guys. Okay? Gaming is almost like an essential thing for me in life. Gaming has got me through a fuck ton of hard times. A shit ton of hard times. And I've made almost half of my friends off gaming. And the fact that they are ruining that experience for me, I cannot grasp how fucking mad I am at the companies right now. And it's very hard for me to keep a straight face when anybody mentions the word Bungie as being a good company and how microtransactions are good, because it's such a load of bullshit. Okay, they are literally stealing your fucking money from your wallet. And some people aren't doing a damn thing against it. A damn thing, because they don't know what's actually happening. They are frauding you and you don't even know it. And we need to stop this as a community. We absolutely have to. If we don't, this will just continue to happen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one day a game comes out that saves all of us, and then games essentially have to switch back. That could happen. I could be completely wrong. But as I see it, it's not happening. A lot of people are hyped up for Anthem, but for all I know, it's made by EA. It's made by EA, guys. The MTX masterminds themselves. Okay, so don't expect much from those companies, guys. I just don't see them changing. I really don't. We, as a community, have to change, and we all have to come together and say to them directly, stop stealing our fucking money. Give us what we paid for. That's been it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. This has been Solar Gaming. I'm out.